I, 42 male, was with my ex, 41 female, for 4 years, from the ages of 27 to 31. In the second year of our relationship, she got pregnant, and I was so happy to be a dad, so excited to give my child everything I didn't have. Later on in the year, we welcomed a beautiful, healthy baby boy. I should preface this a bit by saying that myself and my ex are both pale Korean, so when my son was born with darker skin, I had some doubts but told myself that he would gain features that resembled his mom and me as time passed. I was wrong. Within the first year of his life, I knew that my son wasn't mine. Along with his darker skin, he has hair that defies gravity, while mine and his mom's are as straight as needles. He has different facial features than both of us. Despite knowing most of these within the first year of his life, I decided to stick around and raise him as my own because I'd already become attached to him, and vice versa. I of course didn't mention that I knew to my ex, and whenever my family would question me about it, I'd say, "He's my boy." Of course, the relationship with his mom and I ended, but for other reasons. Despite that, I still stuck around to raise my son. He's a teen now and lives with me 75% of the time and with his mom the other 25. It's just what works for us. Last week I took my son to get his hair cut as he didn't want to grow out his afro anymore. He went back with his mom shortly afterward, and the day after I got a call from my ex telling me she needed to speak with me and that it was serious. We met up and she sat me down very dramatically and proceeded to tell me that my son wasn't my son and that he was her old co-worker's son, and that he was in a very vital stage where he needed to learn about him and his biological dad's culture and whatnot. I told her that I knew. She looked shocked and confused. I told her that I wasn't stupid, that I knew since the moment he was born and that I loved him, and if he chooses to meet his bio-dad, then I fully support him. She got mad at me, saying, "If you knew, you should have said something, and we could have prevented depriving him of his other culture long ago." When I mentioned that she should have told me, she said, "I didn't want to hurt you." That conversation ended, and she went on to tell my son everything. He was rightfully upset and called me afterward to pick him up. I told him that I'd known and loved him from the beginning. He was upset with me for about a day, then he came to me and said he wanted to meet his bio-dad. I said okay and called his mom. Long story short, bio-dad doesn't want to be involved despite knowing about my son since birth. My son is still rightfully sore about the situation, and my ex is saying it's just as much my fault for not saying anything. Maybe if I did say something, he could have grown up with his real dad and didn't have to go through this, or any other things he's experienced. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Okay, so your ex cheated on you, knew that she got pregnant with the guy she cheated on you with, lied to you and your son this whole time, and this is your fault? You seem to be a really loving person, and your ex is most likely taking advantage of your loving nature by placing her grief on you. I'm so sorry you're going through this. Is she seriously trying to blame you right now? Ha ha ha, there is something mentally askew with her. You literally said that bio-dad knew about your son since day one and wanted nothing to do with him, so your ex getting mad about depriving your son of his culture and bio-dad is crap. Honestly, I think she was hoping for some hallmark moment where the bio-dad decided he wanted the teenager, i.e. wanted her still, and she's salty that it's her selflessness, yet again, that caused issues with her son. She hurt him, and you. No one else did. Ah, the good old liar's defense play, attempting to obfuscate and excuse their blatant lies by way of dressing them up in a cloak of altruistic intention. Classic. And now she just wants to spread the anger she's getting from your son because of what she did. She's trying to make you accept some of the blame when, in reality, she's reaping what she sowed. You're awesome for being a dad in this situation. A lot of men would have dipped. Exactly. Dude, he has a real dad. You. You are his real dad. Being a parent isn't about biology, it's about commitment and love and sacrifice. Good luck to you, and I hope you and your son navigate yourselves through this. I have a daughter from a previous marriage, teen, Jenny, and a stepdaughter when I married my wife. We both have primary custody of our kids. My daughter took the transition decently while my stepdaughter, Emily, teen, did not. So family therapy is mostly with her mom and her, but Jenny and I will come in for some sessions when wanted. Overall, I thought it was going okay. Jenny got a job when summer started. She used to have a twin bed, but when Emily moved in with her queen-size bed, that was all she wanted. So she basically saved all her money and bought herself a queen bed frame and a new mattress. She loved it. The two kids got into an argument. It started out over bread, but got more heated. My daughter made a comment about Emily's dad not giving a crap. It was unacceptable. She got her phone taken away for a week, had a lecture, was banned from her club for a week, and of course apologized. We talked about getting her to do therapy also, but that got interrupted. For context, Jenny is mixed and Emily spray-painted slurs on Jenny's new bed frame and mattress, so my wife and I decided Emily's bed would go to Jenny until Emily buys her what she ruined. It's going to be expensive, but she has a job, also lost privileges for a month. Her options are to sleep on the floor or on the couch. I got a call from her father and he went off. I told my mom what had happened and she also thought I was an idiot for this punishment. Why would Emily's dad call you instead of speaking to his ex-wife? Taking away a bed doesn't solve your problem. These two young ladies have some serious issues. It appears without intervention from a professional, their behavior will only escalate. You may want to admit to yourselves that you are both way over your head. Get these girls some professional help, ASAP. That's what you call asymmetric warfare. It went from a sister fight to name-calling and destruction of property. That requires a consequence and therapy because that did not come out of nowhere. Regarding the punishment, what do her dad and your mom think is appropriate? That you and your wife buy a new mattress set? Only one person needs to face this consequence and that's Emily. It's not like she's some little kid who doesn't know better. She's a teenager. Ouch. Low blow for low blow. Your family isn't blending well and your therapist isn't getting the job done. I'm going to say everyone's the idiot here except for the girls. Removing her bed and forcing her to sleep on the couch or the floor because the adults in this story dropped the ball isn't going to make Emily less idiot. If anything, it's going to make things worse. Were the girls even introduced and allowed to know each other? It sounds like you all were trying to mix families after the marriage instead of before the marriage. So, update. After a long talk with Emily, she handed over the money for the new bed. She had enough in her savings from her job and Christmas money. My wife handled the slur talk and had a long conversation with her ex-husband about their daughter and about him basically abandoning her. Individual therapy for both. My mom and dad have 3 kids, me, 18 female and 22 female and male twins. My mom struggled with a host of mental issues and while she loved us, she was not a good mother or partner at all. When I was 5, my parents broke up. Dad had full custody, but he let us stay with our mother whenever it was safe to do so. Eventually, he met and started dating our now stepmother. She wasn't the problem. At the time, we saw her as a cool older sister, fun aunt. We liked hanging out with her and all was good. As stepmom and dad's relationship became more serious, my dad started comparing our mom and stepmom. He'd compare their parenting, her cooking, literally, and everything he could compare he would. At the time it wasn't an issue. Stepmom herself didn't overstep any boundaries. We still had a relationship with our mom and our mom liked stepmom, so all was well. When I was around 13, my mom's health went downhill and a year later I lost her. The first year was honestly a blur, but after things started returning to normal, my dad suddenly doubled down even more on the mom competition. My dad would still make remarks about how stepmom was better than our mom, and at one point he even tried forcing my siblings and me to call stepmom mom. He'd say stuff like, "She's your only mother now," and when mom was alive it was no big deal. Now that she's gone, it really felt as if she was forcing us to move on from our mom. While this rightfully caused an issue with our dad, my stepmom also became caught up in it. It ruined our relationship with her, as she was our mom's replacement, but we weren't looking to replace our mother. Recently, my sister became pregnant. It was unplanned. She told us right away but didn't tell dad and stepmom. She lost the baby and my parents were with her through it all. Stepmom told our dad in private that she felt hurt but my sister felt as if she couldn't tell her with news of the pregnancy. My dad then got us all together and spent a good 30 minutes yelling at us, calling us cruel and other things, and in this yelling, he was referring to stepmom as our mom. My sister snapped and said stepmom is not our mom, nor did we ask for her to be. Stepmom was upset and cried. He yelled at us some more and started shaming my sister for what she said, calling us rude and ungrateful. I responded that it was his fault that we didn't like stepmom. Had he not spent all these years shoving her down our throats, then maybe we would have seen her as more than just a random girl who was trying to take over our mom's role. He took my words and basically blasted me to family, and now everyone is calling me mean and disrespectful and expecting me to apologize to my dad and basically calling me entitled and ungrateful for all that my dad and stepmom have done for us. So, your sister had a loss, and your dad decided this is the best time to have a go at her for not sharing the pregnancy news with her stepmom? What a piece of work. I don't think you said anything wrong here. Well, not the idiot, but damn, that's some drama. What was your father's goal exactly? To shame your sister into apologizing for having a loss and not telling your stepmom? That's stupid. Your sister was in a fragile state. She reached out to her siblings instead of her parents because she trusted you and not your father. I think your father needs to stop trying to guilt you and your siblings into acting like your stepmom is your new mom. You had a mom, you loved her, faults and all, and you lost her. Your stepmom is not your mom. Your relationship with her might have improved if your father had just backed off, but he chose to butt in. You aren't kids. You don't need to be lectured about mom versus stepmom. I disagree. Everyone's the idiot here except stepmom. Your dad has ruined the relationship by comparing your mum and stepmom. You suck a little for taking it out on your stepmom. You don't say anywhere anything that she's actually done that's been horrible to you at all. Take your anger out on the correct person, your dad. My female 20s husband 20s has lifelong pets from his childhood that moved in when we moved in together a few years ago, parrot and tortoise. I do love pets, and as these are my husbands, I never wanted to say, get rid of the pets, as I firmly believe a pet is for life unless in extreme circumstances. As these pets are indoor pets and have lower care than a dog, I figured we do care 50-50. In 2020 I got a work from home job, so I'm around the pets all day, so they're more attached to me and follow my commands a bit more as they know I spoil, but to a limit. Bad behaviour means you don't get to hang out with mom. My husband, on the other hand, has figured I'm gonna do the care 24/7. I never get a moment to myself. My days off are normally doing the deep cleaning of everyone in the house or running to get fresh food, pet care items. He's off Tuesdays, Wednesdays, I'm off Wednesdays and Thursdays. He's gone all day Tuesdays after waking up at noon and returns home after midnight. Meanwhile, I'm still working but handling everyone at home. I've told him to step up and he kinda brushes it off. However, on the rare occasion that I have a doctor's appointment, an illness that runs in the family, appointment made months in advance, it's a fight with my husband each time. I don't like taking the pets off their schedule by much since it means they're cranky and potty breaks become harder. I had an appointment on Wednesday at 11, which is normally when the pet's day starts, but I'll need to be out of the house by 9:30. My husband had an interview at 1 PM and stated that I should just get everyone ready for the day when I get up. I said no, he needs to do it. He said that the parrot always bites him and flies away, and the tortoise just hunkers down when it's time to put them up. I explained they do it because they're not used to him, and the bird bites me all the time and showed him my hand where the bird recently bit me. He told me I was being stubborn. I told him to deal with it. And after my appointment, I'm going shopping for myself and getting lunch since I don't go out much, and since I'm downtown, I'll enjoy myself, which I did for the first time in months. He's now upset and saying I cost him the interview. Am I the idiot for this? You couldn't feed his pet turtle, so he says you cost him a job offer. Is he 12? You are not the idiot. He cared for them before you married, he can do it now. They're there because of him anyway. Is he going to be like this if you have kids? The parrot and the tortoise have potty breaks? That's new. How much attention do these two pets need? I guess I didn't realise they demanded such round-the-clock care. I wonder if the husband actually took care of the pets on his own. If he'd moved from his parents' home to live with OP, his mother might have been the primary pet caretaker. Parrots, depending on the species, can be very much like having a toddler that flies and has a bolt cutter strapped to their face. They're high-maintenance pets. But tortoises? Not so difficult. However, it's not a pet thing, honey. You have bigger problems between you than the pets. This exactly. He spends one of his days off leaving the house at noon and not returning until after midnight? Sus. In the best case scenario, he's just a jerk shirking responsibility. Worst case, he's cheating and trapping OP in a vicious cycle of making something dependent on her so she can't leave. Sure, everyone needs some me time, but being gone that much every week is weird. My wife and I have two sons, Brian and Kevin. Brian has a teen daughter, Aurora. Brian and Aurora live very close to us, spending all their time at our home. Kevin and his family moved in with us and will live with us for a few months. Kevin's wife has been the one doing all the cooking recently since my wife is sick and unable to cook, and Kevin and I work long hours. Aurora and Brian have dinner with us every night as well. Kevin's wife is a terrible cook. Her food is almost impossible to eat. Aurora is very honest. One day she told her that her cooking sucks. Kevin's wife was offended and told her she could cook if she hated her cooking so much. Aurora agreed, and she's been doing all the cooking. However, Kevin's wife is a picky eater, and each night, Aurora makes sure to make a meal that she doesn't eat. This has caused many arguments between them, and Kevin's wife thinks I'm an idiot and should just kick her out and tell her to stop coming over for dinner. So, am I the idiot for not kicking my granddaughter out? Everyone's the idiot here. Okay, Kevin's wife is not a good cook, but she stepped up when needed. Aurora sounds like she weaponized the food so Kevin's wife couldn't eat what she prepared. Not cool, but it sounds like OP stands behind her on this choice or has not corrected her. Kevin's wife then wants Aurora to get thrown out. An idiot move. While your wife is sick, can't someone step up an adult? Run-of-the-mill family drama if you ask me. It's only missing the one sibling in the back thinking they're all nuts. Dear God, your poor wife is trying to heal while all of you play grab butt. I hope she books the resort and leaves you all to figure it out. Sheesh. OP, you're old enough to be a grandfather, and that should be old enough to navigate this situation. Tell your granddaughter to quit being an idiot and stop cooking things that she knows your daughter-in-law doesn't like. Tell your daughter-in-law and son that you're doing them a favor by letting them move in for a bit, and that they aren't able to dictate who will and won't be in your home, and to grow up because she has hands and can cook her own food if she doesn't like what's being prepared.